brainwashing, abuse, and silencing. Claims made in the program. Cons, cults, and kidnapping. A Netflix docuseries about the academy at Ivy Ridge outside of Ogdensburg, claiming students were sexually, physically, and emotionally abused while the school was open. An official investigation now underway. Ivy Ridge was dubbed a school for troubled teens, but the series shows videos of violent acts against students, and now victims are coming forward.
There were suicide attempts, in order to try to get home because maybe our parents will, actually want us back. And the saddest thing in the world was seeing these girls being taken to the hospital and then watching them come back.
There's definitely more females on the run and on suicide watch than the males.
That place brainwashed us. The whole purpose of that place was to break you so they could rebuild you into their image. Their goal was to make you have no hope.
The documentary, titled The Program, Cons, Cults, and Kidnapping, was put together by a former student of the academy, a place with 460 students at its peak, taking in $3,500 a month from each of their families.
Certainly it sold itself as a high school and a learning institution where these kids were getting an education.
But the documentary was not about academic concerns, including those that came to light in 2005 when the Attorney General found the academy was never accredited and in essence offered diplomas that meant nothing. Instead, it presents a much darker existence, claims from students that staff were abusive, mentally, physically, and sexually.
They drug test everybody. They said, oh, you tested hot for opioids, marijuana, cocaine, and benzos. I never touched a drug in my life outside of my medication I was prescribed.
You were forced to restrain. I remember a time where they would put tampons in girls' mouths so that they wouldn't bite their lips because they were trying to, harm themselves.
There was a point system based on strict rules that governed the students' lives. If students obeyed the rules, they gained points to get through the program. If they misbehaved, he says there could be severe consequences.
I saw abuse when I would bring students into administrative offices. Kids took some beatings in there, and it's awful to say now because but it's what it was.
The idea for the Netflix documentary was the brilliant brainchild of alumni student Catherine Kubler, who was sent to the academy at Ivy Ridge from 2004 to 2005 after she was caught drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade, something quite normal for teenagers to do. She was handcuffed and forcibly taken to the school after being sent by her father and stepmother. She struggled to grapple with the trauma and abuse that she endured there during her near 16 months of incarceration. As a filmmaker and accustomed to documenting her life on camera, she decided to make a film that would reflect and recapture her experiences. The Academy at Ivy Ridge opened in 2001 after taking over a former college campus. The site was specifically chosen by the school's founders mainly due to its strategic isolation in upstate New York and the long, brutal, harsh winters that naturally reinforce more distance between students and their families. Look at that decay in here. Look at the fungus growing all over the wood and the mattress. There's like mushrooms, look at that. Definitely fungus. Look at the mushrooms growing over there. It stinks so bad in here. This one's got white metal frames instead of the wood style. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. It's got people's names on it. Cal, NC, KS, JDM on the hangers. I found all these boxes of books in one of the dorm rooms. This boxes and boxes of books. Look at that. Oh, these are all like educational videos. Hazleton, 1990. Wow. And look at this. They got all the VHS tapes of actual Ivy Ridge programming. Oh my God. Day 35, Sunday, educational. Let's grab another. These are so gross. I can't believe I'm touching these. But sometimes it's worth it. Day 66, educational Wednesday. And blank. Day 33, Friday, educational.
Unbelievably, in 2020, she would go on to discover that school administrators literally left everything behind, including official documents, student files, and other evidence, providing the audience with overwhelming proof to back her claims. And not just hers, but many other claims were brought to light by many other Ivy Ridge alumni who shared similar sinister experiences. Some students would go on to tell their own heart-wrenching testimonies on popular television shows such as Dr. Phil, as well as other various media outlets. However, it still remained relatively quiet to the public until movie mogul app Netflix picked it up. And although the documentary is largely focused on Ivy Ridge itself, the brunt of the blame seems to fall on the school's parent company, Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs, aka WASP, the organization who basically oversaw the operations at Ivy Ridge.
2004, Regents exams, number of students who passed, which is stupid because it wasn't even real. None of their education was real, none of this. Look at that. First year of accreditation, 2001, and that's all lies. Wow, what did they make this stuff up? Northwest Association of Accredited Schools, get out of here. Probably some made up stuff. Ivy Ridge SAT scores. SAT, look. The SATs, student population. Wow. They weren't even accredited to be giving diplomas and graduating ceremonies and stuff. Many of the alumni found that they couldn't use their schooling that they got here to do anything with. So they were eventually fined and I think sued, which led to the closing in 2009. And the closing really didn't have anything to do with the abuse that went on here. It was more due to the non-accreditation of being an actual school. Dude, she was here for like 2 years. 2004. Oh, look at these girls sign this. I know the one chick in the documentary pointed down here somewhere, saying that her name was on it.
This is this wall that all the upper levels sign.
Yeah, so that's me. I remember after you made level 4, this was like the indoctrination. Like, you're in now.
And there she is. I just found it. I had to match it up. Let's see. So this is one of the chicks that's in the documentary, Alexa. That is wild.
The man behind WASP and the founder of Ivy Ridge is multimillionaire Robert Litchfield, who famously set up special schools in the 1990s for troubled kids. Ivy Ridge was just one of such schools, and the focus of the documentary. After all, it was them who hired the now notorious Ivy Ridge leader/director Jason Finelson and his minions, including alleged pedophile Amy Ritchie, a former teacher that is accused of some of the worst crimes against the students. Perhaps the worst part in all of this is that despite being sued in 2006, it seems that branches of WASP still exist and operate today, just under different identities. Sadly, at the time of this video, nobody has been formally prosecuted for any of the alleged crimes,
although many think charges will be coming soon. I wonder if this was like the dorm parents' room, because this is a little bit bigger, has its own bathroom. Look at this. All the stuff is still in here. Jeez. The facility opened in 2001 after purchasing the former home of Mater Dei College, who originally built the 5-building educational complex back in 1959 and pretty much ran it until Ivy Ridge took over in 2001. The complex measures in at over 200,000 square feet of building space, including educational classrooms, men and women's dorms, gymnasiums, computer labs, science labs, a library, and administrative offices. The school's promotional materials state that the facility also boasts cross-country ski trails, nature trails, tennis courts, basketball courts, a volleyball area, a baseball field, and a soccer field, all located within a quiet, peaceful, and wooded setting. At its peak, the school had 600 students that all paid nearly $4,000 a month, allowing the school to rake in an unbelievable $20 million each year. So now we're in the library building.
It's kind of hard to see, but the door says, "Lies sold here, souls lost here." Our mission is to challenge and motivate the students through the internal development of leadership skills necessary to become responsible and contributing members of society. This is accomplished through a structured learning environment, providing our students with opportunities to develop accountability, responsibility, self-motivation, positive self-esteem, family unity, and academic success. It says that's what their mission was, but clearly they had a different mission, and that was to abuse the shit out of the kids that were here.
Man, this room is really cool. Computer labs. This is the bigger one. There's another one in the back. But this is the big one. This is really cool to see all these computers still sitting here. And not only that, but like all the stuff on the wall too. It's still up on the wall. Traits of good writing. It's crazy they left all these computers in here. And of course now they're not worth anything. They're so outdated. I'm surprised they even let them get on the computer. Probably didn't want them to get on the internet. Civil War poster, industrialization. Look at all these rows of computers. It's so wild.
So look at this wall. This wall has all different kids' names on it and how long they spent here. So you can see pretty much everyone was here for over a year. And then it keeps going on this wall.
Huh. Ain't that something? And that. This is just like so like fitting for this place. Look, another one. Managing Madness, Justice and Corrections, Human Development. And then all these child abuse books. This is exactly what happened here.
So this is the rules and consequences sheet. So if you did any of these things in category 5, tobacco, alcohol, runaway, out of control, self-inflicted injury, you were moved all the way back to regular status, which means you have to start the entire program over, it looks like. There's the old trophy shelf. So this is the room where they used to have the seminars. Wow. Watching the documentary, a lot of torture went on in these rooms. I mean, they were literally torturing these kids. These right here, this is duct tape wrapped around towels. And what used to happen is, they used to make the kids here take this and smack it onto the ground. This was supposed to help you get all your anger out. Problem was, they would make the kids do this for hours and hours. 1 hour, 2, 3 hours. And if you stopped at all, so say you went like this, you went to take a break for a few seconds and not continuous smacking the ground for over an hour, they would make you start over. They would start your time over. It was literally torture. They were torturing these kids every single day here. In the documentary, one of the guys said that they used to make you dress up. And basically they would make the guys cross-dress. You would have to perform in front of everyone at the seminar. And it was basically to humiliate you, you know, really crush your self-esteem. So they'd have all the guys cross-dress, put on dresses, high heels, really just to humiliate you in front of everyone. Yeah, here's the makeup kit. They would make the guys put on makeup. Look at the way the mold is growing out of these books on the ground. They stole our souls and we're taking them back. Called me a homo and dyke. They tried to break my image.
This is the spot where they tried to make me straight. You failed, homophobic, racist assholes. Wow.
R.I.P. to all the troubled youth souls. R.I.P. Lindsay. So being a victim was a big thing here. Since you weren't allowed to talk or communicate with anyone, one thing that they did is put a V for victim up on your forehead. Basically with your fingers, you would spread your fingers apart to make a V. And when someone was playing the victim, you would signal that to them because you weren't allowed to talk to them. If walls could talk, for real. So in the documentary, 2 of the females are sitting right in these chairs and they're telling a story about one of the seminars that they attended, where they had to sit there for 8 hours, not exaggerated, 8 hours long. They had to recite this stupid phrase, and I believe it went palms up, palms down, palms together, palms apart. Palms up, palms down, palms together, palms apart. Palms up, palms down, palms together, palms apart. They did it for like a minute and it sounded like they were crazy in the documentary, and They had to do it for 8 hours that day to complete the seminar. And if you stopped within those 8 hours, you had to start your time over. I can't imagine being put in that type of situation at 16, 15, 14 years old, and your parents having no clue that this is happening to you, and you can't tell them, because if you were to tell anyone what was happening, you would start over. You would start from zero and have to work the entire program again. Most people were here for over a year. You couldn't talk to the person next to you. You couldn't look at them. You couldn't look out the window. I mean, it's mind blown that the staff that was here treated kids like this and did this to people. Could you imagine at 14 years old, you look out the window and a grown man, 250 pounds, beats the shit out of you because you looked out the window? It doesn't even seem real that it happened. And it's crazy that in the documentary, they came back here and found all of their surveillance tapes. And they went through all of those tapes and all of the records, and they have records of everything that happened here. And really all the evidence to prove the abuse that those kids went through here. It's really sad to watch. And pretty crazy to explore. You know, I never really care for places that have graph in them. This is a location I would usually never come and explore. There's not many photos here to take. However, the story is just, the story just is heartbreaking, and I had to come here and document it, and to see the graffiti written on the walls. If these walls could talk, we won't be silenced. You can't erase the truth. I'm not here. This isn't happening. One of the females in the documentary, she might have been the one who actually made the documentary. She got sent here for drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade at school. She got caught with Mike's Hard Lemonade. I mean, to think at 14 years old, I was drinking every single weekend. You know, we were partying every single weekend at that age. This girl got caught with Mike's Hard Lemonade, and her parents sent her here for like 16 months as a child. You know, some of the best times of your life are at that age, and a lot of kids spent those years locked up in this prison, getting mentally abused, physically abused, sexually abused. It's really sad to know that all these kids went through this for years and no one did anything. Even when they rioted, when all the kids rioted and the police got involved and police reports happened, you know, I think 15 kids or, you know, somewhere around that amount escaped. I'm sure they told the police what was happening here. None of those police officers reached out to the parents and said, hey, you know, your kid just escaped because they're getting sexually abused here. Do you know what's happening? And none of that happened. They just kind of swept it under the rug. All the kids got in a lot more trouble. Some of them had to spend several years here after that. Yeah, it's just really sad.
From New York State Police, Mr. Jason Finnison, the Academy at Ivy Ridge. Dear Mr. Finnison, I have reviewed all the current and past criminal investigations that the New York State Police have conducted and are conducting in St. Lawrence County. As of this date, there are currently no criminal investigations pending with child abuse or any other criminal offense involving the Academy at Ivy Ridge. If I can be further assistance in regard to this matter, please do not hesitate to contact me, Todd St. Louis, Lieutenant, Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Wow. And that's to one of the directors here.
Even the students themselves tried to shut the facility down during a riot, unfortunately to no avail. The students all started a riot on May 16, 2005, resulting in at least 4 dozen expulsions and 12 arrests. About 35 sheriff deputies, state troopers, city police, and U.S. Border Patrol agents assisted in ending the riot and capturing over 30 runaway students.
This is America.
Allegedly, there's evidence that students were beaten, chained, locked in dog cages, forced to eat vomit, and made to lie in urine and feces as punishment. Worst of all, documents allegedly claim that students were also forced to engage in lewd and sexual acts. The sad part is that the parents thought they were actually helping their teens by sending them away to these boarding schools, but the reality was far more sinister than anyone could have ever imagined.
It's always cool when you find a library with all the books. Pretty rare to come by, actually. At least with all the books still on the shelves like this. These should have been removed out of here and donated. A lot of the books are still in good condition.
Oh, look at this. Another fitting one. It's crazy. They had all this in here, and yet that's exactly what was happening in this place. Child care, child abuse. It's crazy that all this is sitting on these shelves when all that was really happening in this place. While you are at the parent-child seminar, please remember that this is valuable time spent with your family under 24-hour supervision at all times. No coffee, image clothes, no emails or internet, no communication with friends. 100% supervision at all times. No manipulation about going home. Jeez, no MTV. No driving, no faxes, no phone calls, no R-rated movies, no inappropriate music, no pool parties. Jeez. Any breach in this contract will result in Cat 3 minimum, or, if otherwise outlined in the student manual, all consequences apply loss of points.
Alright, so here's the gym. It's really dark. Get out while you can. This looks like another science lab. Gotta move. There's cobwebs everywhere. Okay. Wow, look at the lab. There's actually still a lot of stuff left in the lab. I'm surprised kids haven't broke like all these beakers and stuff. This is the closet in the chemistry room. Nitrous acid. Oleic acid.
Species Z, species X. Pine cones and shells. Just wild stuff. Aluminum blocks. This is so cool. These snails or something. Exam table in here. Needles. Another scale there. So another. Look at all this. Medical supplies. Sharps container with a bunch of dirty needles in it. That's real safe. Blood vials. Look at that, used vials in there. That's crazy. Jesus. Disposable syringes. Wild. It's like a medication. Yeah. This is a pill counter. This is a pill scrape thing, pill pusher thing. And this is the window, probably. Serve meds out of the line. Yeah, there's the cups. Wow, that's crazy. Like antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, antidepressants, drug testing. Wow. Pregnancy tests. Wow.
Looks like another gym right here. We remember what you did to us. Ivy Ridge Falcons, robbers of childhood. We will get by, we will survive. WWASP survivors. Always remember, never forget. 2001 through 2009. So Clarissa was in the integrity family. Here's all her violations. Rule violations, NFD, rude manners, rude act, rude manners, unsatisfactory efforts, talking without permission. That spider's like dead and covered in mold. Here's another office. Jeez, look how much is left in here.
As of 2024, the Academy at Ivy Ridge still sits abandoned, just as it has for the previous 15 years. With the current price tag of $875,000, it will sure be interesting to see what happens with such a disgraceful place. With Ivy Ridge currently serving as a constant reminder of all the trauma, pain, and suffering that these students endured, it would not only seem appropriate, but maybe necessary to demolish Ivy Ridge and erase it from the face of the earth, signaling the end of a true American tragedy.
You can see that they drilled out the locks to get to the documents that were in here, and this was the girls enrolled. And there was one cabinet that they opened and it had like all of their, yeah, I think this was it, the intake paperwork. And they found paperwork on themselves. This looks like an old lab, maybe. The ceiling's trashed in here. Yeah, this is like an old lab and classroom. Here's HR. I don't think HR did that good of a job. They probably should have got fired. But there's the HR department. Wow, look how decayed this room is. Entire ceilings. So all the ceiling tiles are collapsed. Alright, so here's another computer lab. This one's pretty cool too. We will get by, we will survive. Survive strong 2022. Wonder if that's when they were making the documentary. Alright, so
Done.
that is wrapping it up.
We've been at Ivy Ridge for about 5-6 hours now. Getting it in.
We got about a 2-mile walk through the woods. It's
In the rain.
raining. It's been raining for like 4 days. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, comment, share it. Make sure you're subscribed.
Definitely.
And we appreciate all the support.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for watching.